morning everyone, it's Yvonne here to do you What's Cracking reading. Just a few updates, little reminder that I'll be at Shell Harbour for the Shell Harbour Expo this Saturday, Sunday. There is on my page a notice that allows you to book if you want to book ahead. Please understand that not all appointments will be bookable in front. Some you have to turn up for on the day. So you can give Danielle a call at Living Wellness, and if there's bookings, she'll book you in. So I hope to see, because Shell Harbour is sort of my home area, so I hope to see the people that live in the area and meet you. But if you're not coming for a reading, you're not coming for a reading with me. There are lots of other readers there, but please say hello on the way past. I am still doing personal readings. You can book via my website, www.theaussiegoddess.com. You can book and pay and schedule your reading there. Just keep in mind the time zones if you're in another country. And watch for scammers. I'm having a lot of trouble with that because apparently scammers don't always sort of meet the guidelines for violation. So even when they're impersonating me, I can't report them for impersonating me. It doesn't meet their guidelines. So if you see them, I'm really relying on you. If somebody tries to scam you for a reading or scam money out of you, I'm utterly and completely relying on you to report them. But when I report them, they seem to come back with no violations. So, and that is pretty much everywhere. So I don't really know why it is that people can impersonate or copy your channel and they don't see that as fraud. Making money out of someone else, apparently. So please, yeah, just do your best to report or block, but do not get into their antics for money. Just always remember, I would let you know if I was having another channel opened. All right, let's get into this reading. Thank you so much for your follows, your kindness, your beautiful comments, your gratitude. Never goes unnoticed. We're going to use the, oh my goodness, it's the Celtic Tarot for your reading today. And I've been shuffling all the time we talk, so let's get into it. Okay, so we're coming up with the Two of Swords. Oh, there are Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords for me as a card, there's sort of a few meanings for this card. It is about competition. It is about winning at all costs. For me, it's very much leaving something behind that you've won, but not feeling satisfied by what you have gained by that. For me, it's always the energy of an empty victory. So sometimes walking away from something, even when you don't want to, but you know that it's best for you. So there's something here that you are moving away from. Well, there we go, Six of Swords behind that. So that pretty much clarifies what I'm saying. There is something here you are moving away from. I feel with this Six of Swords, because you've got the extra truth here, for 5 to the 6, you've got some clarification on something. I think you probably were toying here with the idea of moving away from something, and somehow or another that clarity has come through with the Ace of Swords and sort of moved you in a brand new direction. What I love with the Six of Swords is it says to me that the lessons have been learned here. You're not going to sort of entertain something any longer, and you're moving into more calmer waters. All right, behind that we have the Chariot. So some of you may have moved away from a Cancer. But this all tells me that in all of these 3 cards that you're done with something big time. You're moving in a completely new direction. You have clarity. You've learned the lessons. You know what the lessons are. And you are definitely moving forward with that Chariot card. Let's have a look. 9 of Wands, you've had enough. You've cycled something a few times. And you're going after your 10 of Cups. That is really interesting energy. So whatever this is, whatever you're moving away from here, you're done. You're down, you're dusted. You're done and dusted. It's over. It's finished. It's complete. There is nothing here that says to me you're going to turn back from whatever you're leaving behind. Especially with that sort of energy of the 10 of Cups. What that says to me is that you've gained your own value. You know what you're worth now. and you're no longer willing to put up with what you were before. So your lessons have learned, you're completely on a new path, and you're going after your 10 of Cups. I love it. All right. I really like the setup now. I love how we put the cards out. Look, we have the Ace of Cups coming out first. So what this says to me is, now that you know your value, you're either going after the love you think you deserve, but what it says to me here is that you've understood how important you are in an equation. I feel like sometimes, you know, we sort of put up with something for so long, or we battle for something for so long, that we lose ourselves in that process. But the cup tells me that you haven't done that. You've either kept yourself focused but by remembering what you're worth, or you have focused on this as part of your healing. Whichever way it is, it tells me absolutely that you are understanding this concept of self-love. I feel that we all have a little bit of confusion as to self-love. I mean, most of us think that is sort of, you know, going for a massage, you know, looking after yourself in a physical way. When you start to realize the concept of self-love, you start to understand yourself in a very different way. And it's not about losing yourself. It's about understanding the codependency, especially. For some unknown reason, people get codependency mixed up with dependency. Dependency can be healthy in a relationship, and everybody to a certain degree is, you know, dependent on a partner. Codependency is unhealthy dependency, very unhealthy. It means that you are so dependent on the person that you're with that you lose your own identity to them. So you've got them on a pedestal, you see them as having more value than you. You may be really investing in them at the value of losing yourself. Why is it unhealthy? Because you attach everything to that person. You want to be around that person 24 hours a day. You want to do everything with that person, and your idea in a relationship is that focus. This person is everything. And you don't remember who you are because you are so busy trying to be what you need to be with them. So it's a complex thing. But for many of you, you would understand it if you've walked away from a relationship where it's difficult to find yourself again and you lose a part of yourself within that. So self-love goes much deeper than just getting massages and getting your hair done every now and again. And I feel like that is definitely a part of it. But it's more about understanding your own boundaries, keeping your own independence, understanding your individuality, and also seeing what you're worth. So you don't become everything to someone else and put them on a pedestal. It's about having that equality in a relationship. You want interdependence in a relationship. So what we have here is this understanding here with this cup of your own love for yourself, self-respect. All right, so we have the Four of Pentacles coming through with the Hanged Man and the King of Cups. Definitely strong Cancer energy coming through here. We do have Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, in particular Pisces here and Cancer at the beginning. So you could be very well dealing with a water sign. But this energy here with this Four of Pentacles and the Hanged Man is that energy of letting go of what you feel a relationship is here. And I feel like it's got to a point here where you're understanding that you may have to let go of someone here, even though you love this person with the King of Cups, because you realize here that you are losing yourself in this situation. The Hanged Man tells me you're seeing something from a different perspective. So something here is starting to get you to understand because you're letting go with the Four of Pentacles. But this almost feels like more of a hanging on with these two cards. I mean, we know the Hanged Man is hanging on. He's trying to see something from a different perspective. But the Four of Pentacles makes me feel like you're hanging on to something. So maybe the reading here is showing that at the moment you're hanging on, but the mini reading is showing you moving away. So maybe it's something you're contemplating at the moment. Now, always keep in mind, this person here could be a father figure, somebody that you work for example. There is something here that you are clinging to, that you are making a decision here through your own concept of self-love on whether it's worth persevering with or not. All right, so we have the sun coming through. That's really nice. That's the clarity you're after with the Ace of Wands here and the Four of Swords. So I feel like here there is a brand new beginning and there is light being shone on something here for you. There is definitely an energy here of awakening. I feel like you're awakening to your own love. You're awakening to something here that perhaps you've grown accustomed to over the years, but you haven't really understood how to maybe cure your codependent nature. Maybe there are aspects of you that you haven't been able to see before. Something is happening though, because you've got the Ace of Wands coming through, Queen of Pentacles with the Two of Pentacles. There's a definite decision being made. I feel like here this is showing some sort of process of weighing up the pros and cons of something. Maybe you've been so distorted by your love for someone that you haven't really seen the true nature of what is happening. And I feel like here with this Two of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands and the Sun, that it feels to me like something could be adjusted or put right, but I feel like you're looking at walking away here. Let me just pull the last card, Two of Swords. There's definitely a decision being made. I feel like with this Queen of Pentacles, you are starting to look at yourself in a particular situation in a very different way, because you're understanding here this idea of loving yourself, but it looks to me like you're hanging on to something, like you're hanging on to an old way, you're hanging on to you may be hanging on to a person, but I don't feel it's that. I feel like you're hanging on to a way of doing things that needs to be moved away from. I don't think this has to do with a person. Let me go through it again. All right, so we have here the Five of Swords. And I also have the Six of Swords, giving the idea here that one sword that sits between them is clarity or seeing something in a different way. I see forward movement here with the Chariot, and I see the Nine of Wands. Like you don't want to revisit this again because your Ten of Cups is here. And I do have the Hermit behind that. So it really does feel to me like there's some sort of learning here. When I first picked it up, I felt like you were moving away from a person. But I'm actually feeling with the energy of this, you're walking away or moving away from a way of doing things that never served you. And I'm feeling this has to do with something to do with love that you are starting to realize here, and you're starting a brand new beginning. You know, sometimes when we're in a relationship, whether that's with a family member, a friend, or a lover, we do sort of tend to, in the beginning of the relationship, get very lost in the limerence of it all. And sort of the only thing that, you know, that feels so good because it's so exciting, everything's going really well. But then all of a sudden reality kicks in and you start seeing things for what they actually are. And I feel this is what's happening with this Two of Pentacles. I feel like somehow or another with this Queen of Pentacles, you're seeing things in a very different way. I don't feel this is a bad thing. I think what it's teaching you here with this Two of Swords is how to balance out a relationship without becoming codependent, finding your independence and staying with that and being able to assert yourself in something. I'm sort of getting this energy here that I'm trying to explain. It sort of feels like to me like you're learning to be yourself in a relationship and discarding some old views or some old ideas around how a relationship works. So it very much feels to me like you're on a learning journey here. So what you're moving away from with those beginning cards feels to me like you are moving away from a way of doing things that you've done in the past. Now, perhaps you are about to meet someone or you've just met someone, because I feel this sort of energy of tossing up and toying with what's going on, trying to understand how to do things differently this time. You've gone through some sort of healing here. You've gone through some sort of healing and somehow or another it shone light on your relationships. So maybe previously or in past relationships, you've given yourself up, you've been codependent. But in this particular situation, you're learning to assert your own power or your own individuality within this relationship, and it's going to be something that you are moving towards more satisfying and complete relationships by doing this. So you're not giving all your value up to the other person. You are learning how to balance that out and making a decision to give this one a go, but to do things in a very different way. Six of Pentacles. Oh my goodness, it's right there. The Six of understanding the equal give and take in a relationship. Now, I talk about this all the time because what an equal give and take means is what I put into the relationship I expect to get back. It doesn't mean dollar for dollar or ounce for ounce. What it means is if you're loving someone and doing all the right things from someone, it's not wrong to accept that they need to do some of those things back for you. So you can't keep pushing love in a relationship or keep trying to love someone if they are not loving you back. So a lot of us have had to learn this along the way because many of us came from a culture of serving others, people pleasing. So there is a real energy here with this Six of Pentacles, is that you're learning the equal give and take. So it's not wrong to ask someone to put something back into the relationship. If you're doing all the giving, all the fixing, all the serving, it's not healthy and it will eventually become toxic. And something here tells me that you are learning to do it the right way this time. Ten of Swords, completing a cycle. The World, you're completing some sort of negative cycle here. There's a completion. So whatever you were doing previously, you're understanding it doesn't serve you anymore and you are doing things in a very different way here. All right, I'm going to read a card from the Shaman's Oracle. There it is. Herald of Change, Horseman. This says, good news, caution, and a herald of change. When the horseman appears, he's inviting you to spread the good news. Everyone already knows the bad news. Your task is to point out the beautiful when others see only the ugly. Note the possible, no matter how implausible it may seem. This does not mean becoming giddy or blindly optimistic, but rather reminding yourself that every storm cloud has a silver lining. Become a herald of the positive. So this is about being positive about things. Don't get stuck in the negative energies. I feel like more than this, it's showing you how to become more logical in a relationship rather than just emotional. And again, I've spoken about this before. We can sometimes get so trapped in our emotions that we don't actually see what's going on at a different level. So I feel like here this is about staying positive and letting go of the negative. I'll leave you with that. Thank you.